Coming up on tonight's episode, we have previously done the movie draft. Now it's the post-game report. Full end-to-end analysis on how each team did, where each movie's going, and how Matt and I thought everything's going to end up this year. Stick around. The post-game report starts right now. This is Up for Debate, episode number 125, recorded October 11th, 2018. Movie draft, post-game report. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this episode of Up for Debate, the debate podcast where the two hosts agree on everything. I'm Sean Jennings, joined, as always, by our top analysis, our pro in the spreadsheet, our man crunching the numbers over there. He is an all-time pro when it comes to the movie draft. It's Matt Mariani.
Hey, we're back. Movie draft number 4, 5,
number 6, Matt.
Number 6.
Number
wow,
6. Can you believe it?
How the time has just scooted on by.
And I'm glad you're here, Matt, because, you know, you watch all these, like, football post-game reports, and usually the guys on there, they're wearing their Super Bowl rings. It always says, like, a Hall of Fame class. Matt, you have the rare distinction. You are a Winter Movie League champion.
Oh, I wish I had the trophy. It's actually in my living room. It's on my mantle.
Being displayed.
Right? So, and I'm in the little guest room here. This is where I'm confined. This is my podcasting space. So I don't have the trophy here. I could easily get up and go get it, but it's okay.
I wouldn't bother. But
just trust me, it's there.
You have a unique insight into how the movie league works. You've done it now. How many of these have you done? You've been on all 6, right?
Done all 6. Yes.
You've done one of the few who's done all 6.
Been there since the very beginning.
That's right.
The pioneers. Yeah.
That's right. Winning back the 2016 winter draft, you were the champion, $789 million. If I remember correctly, led mostly by the first Fantastic Beasts and the Lego Movie, right?
Oh yeah. Was it the Lego Movie? I thought that was 2015.
No. It was definitely the Lego Movie. But you know what? I'm just going to pull up the sheet instead of just second guessing.
Pull it up.
But
yeah.
It was, what did I say? It was the 2016 winter.
Well, that would be. You know, I actually don't remember if it was Fantastic Beasts, but that would be very poetic, since Heather and I drafted the sequel.
Well, Matt, you had the insane 4-movie combination that I was shocked they let you get away with of Doctor Strange, Fantastic Beasts, La La Land, and Lego Batman. It was Lego Batman.
That's what it was. It was Lego Batman. I was pretty pretty sure it wasn't the Lego Movie. But yes, Lego that was, I don't know how I got away with it. That was absolute robbery.
You did an awesome job that year. You also, by the way, Matt, I just would like to point this out to the fans at home. This past in the 2018 Summer League, you set a record for the most expensive movie ever purchased.
Okay.
When you spent $56 on Deadpool 2. Which, I hate to break it to you, I don't know where it ranked in terms of our movies, in terms of overall gross. It definitely wasn't, I think it was maybe number 5.
Yeah, that
because it was Avengers, Incredibles 2, yeah. Jurassic World beat it, and then it's 4th.
That I have to say, Jurassic World surprised me that it grossed more than Deadpool 2.
Well, what I love to point out, Matt, is that just not to rub it in, but Kaylee and Brian spent $47 on Incredibles 2. You spent $56 on Deadpool. They made twice as much money as you did. So
that's also shocking. Is that Incredibles 2? That was a surprise as well. I didn't think there was this much cultural love for the Incredibles. Apparently there was.
I don't want to be an I told you so guy, but I did say Incredibles 2 is a must own in this league because Pixar movies, I won the very first movie league on Finding Dory. Those Pixar movies, especially the sequels in the summer, do really well. And it was a bad summer for kids movies because Hotel Transylvania 3 made $166 million, which is insane for a third movie in a franchise nobody gives a shit about. But it's because there was no kids movie competition.
Wasn't that the season of Coco, though? Or was that the previous?
No, that was the previous winter. So that would have been 2017 winter. And Coco didn't do as well. They do better in the summer than they do in the DreamWorks tends to do better.
Oh yeah.
No, Coco only did 209, but it wasn't a franchise. The sequels, the Pixar sequels do way better than their original stuff. And that's why they're doing mostly sequels now.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, no, that was a surprise. I saw the cultural zeitgeist I thought was set and ready for another Deadpool, and I guess
Hey, 318 is nothing to sneeze at, Matt. It's just my only point, and not to,
Yeah.
but it was a lot of money to pay for that.
Yeah. But that was then, Sean, and now we're talking about now. This is
We
now.
sure are. Matt, we've got a whole new league. I recommend everybody, if you're listening to this episode but didn't listen to last week, shame on you. Don't do that. Stop this one and go and listen to the draft episode. It was a ton of fun, Matt. We had 6 teams, 12 people, a full slate. We don't usually get 6 two-person teams. It's pretty rare for us, so we were thrilled to have them. Matt, let's just quickly remind everybody who our players are. In no particular order, we had Mike and Laura returning as Gooper Troopers. They're famous in the league for having drafted the fewest movies ever, just 3 one year. Not great, but they're ready for a comeback. We've got Team 7, Colby and Emily, who came in second in the summer edition. They're looking for revenge. Dan and Sarah reuniting, the only team to have ever won a movie league. Matt, you have a new partner this year. You're with Heather, which is an exciting team, Heather. Kaylee and Brian are back, and we have 2 new players, Matt and James, who joined us as well. So I think it was did you think it was an exciting draft, Matt?
This was, I would say, the most exciting one yet.
Everyone was
from a perspective of a player right in the game. Everybody was pretty amped. I had a lot of fun. I thought that it was the best one we've done yet.
And if you watch the video version, no one was talking. Everyone was so focused on, they were whispering to everyone was muted. They were all whispering to each other. They were trying to figure it out. They were strategizing. People were taking notes, and it's getting scientific. I mean, people want to win this thing. They're not fooling around.
That's right. It's all about that trophy. We got to get that trophy at the end of the day.
That big giant trophy. Well, Matt, let's break down, this is the post game, so we're going to kind of do a mini review. Now, Matt, you're a little biased because you're playing, but I think we can get over that. Hopefully you'll be honest with us about...
That could be fair, yeah. I think I could be a fair arbiter here.
Very good. Now, do you want to go team by team and break it down, movie by movie? How do you want to handle this?
I kind of want to get... How about we'll conclude, or we'll start at the end. We'll conclude with maybe your opinion on like who you thought did the best, who you thought performed the best in the draft, the movies that you believe will be the most successful.
Yep.
The movies that you think will be the least successful, the least practical. Hey, you know what? How about we do this? Do you want to go movie by movie? I like the movie by movie.
Let's go movie by movie. We got 30 of them here. That'll certainly take us a nice chunk of time here. And Matt, let's start with our first opening weekend. This one's it was already in theaters when we drafted it, so people kind of had an idea of what to expect. A Star is Born and Venom. Just so people know, Venom in its first weekend, $80 million. A Star is Born in its first weekend, $40 million. Drafted by 2 teams. Venom went to Mystery Team for $22, and A Star is Born to the Gooper Troopers for $15. Matt, how do we think these boys did here?
I'm looking at the team. So are we talking about them as a team, or are we talking about?
You want to go movie by movie, so we'll talk about these as individual films. I mean, I'll start us off here. I think 15 is a little high on A Star is Born. The real question for me is, you'll get a couple weekends out of it. I think this film only works at 15 if it becomes an awards movie. But that won't happen. It's early October is way too early for an awards movies because they're not going to start buzzing on those until December, and it's already out of theaters by then. So, is this make sense at $10? Totally. At 15, I think you're pushing it. You really need a strong second weekend, and I think more money is going to go to Venom in weekend 2 than A Star is Born. So, okay, bye. I just think it's a little overpurchased that early for the first movie.
Agreed. I think for that movie, my cap would have been 10. I don't think I would have bid more 10. Now it is star-studded. You've got Lady Gaga co-starring with Bradley Cooper.
It wouldn't surprise me if it went over $100 million. It really wouldn't. It also wouldn't surprise me if it went for 80. I don't think it's going to go much higher than 100. But about $100 million movie, you want to pay $10, $12. You don't want to be dropping. 15 is borderline high. But again, I don't think it's going to make or break them by any stretch.
Yeah, this one, I'll admittedly, from a perspective of being in the draft, this one had me shaking in my boots a little bit that we didn't acquire this one. I wasn't aggressive for it. Heather, certainly we weren't that aggressive for it, and that was fine. We had discussed our strategy beforehand, and I'll let everyone in on the behind the closed doors,
Please do.
The locker room doors. We would say that our strategy was definitely from the beginning we were gunning for one particular movie that we both wanted, and that, of course, was
Mortal Engines.
Robin Hood. No, it was On the Basis of Sex, which is another movie that I know that boggles your mind, Sean. I know that during the draft you had very visceral reaction to it. You were like,
I've got to tell you,
very raw reaction. Like what? Like what were they thinking here? And I'll tell you what we were thinking. Okay. We were thinking that the cultural, and I'm using this term again, I used it for Deadpool. Now I'm using it for this movie. The cultural zeitgeist, Sean. The cultural zeitgeist, I think, is set for a movie like this one. A movie like On the Basis of Sex. Of course, the biopic about Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I just think that there's a lot of people in this country that are ready to watch a movie like this. They are galvanized for a movie like this. I think it's going to do gangbusters at the box office. Just from an observational point of view.
Yeah, Matt, I'm going to be honest with you here, okay? We've now drafted 120 movies since we started doing this, okay? Or no, wait. That can't be right. 30 movies times 6. That's 180. Sorry. 180 movies. Matt, I have never been more shocked when that movie went for $27. $27 is more than Spider-Man and Mary Poppins went for, Matt. At $27, Matt, give me a number. What do you think this is going to do at the box office? Give me a dollar amount. You can ballpark it.
How much did La La Land do off the top of your head?
La La Land did, what year was that? That would have been 2016. I've got all the sheets right here, so I can tell you the actual amount. I just have to pull up the spreadsheet here. La La Land did 150.
I think this movie will pull 140.
That's fucking insane. That is the most two things. And Matt, I'm not really trying to be hard on you on this.
I'm telling you, Sean, Matt, the people want a movie like this.
But here's
the
thing,
people
Matt,
are ready for a movie like this.
Here's the thing, and I'm always honest with you, good or bad. I'm not holding back. That's my job as a bloviator on the internet. At $27 purchase price, even making $150 million is a bad deal. A $27 movie needs to make about $270 to $300 million to be worth its money. Because if you put it this way, Matt, almost every winner we've had, or at least the last couple, they've reached at least $1 billion, which means your $100, it needs to be about $10 million for every one you bid. Wait. Yes, every $10 million for every one you bid. So if you bid $27, you have to make $270. If you do more than that, and that's a blended average, so some will do less, some will do more. At $27, it was the second highest movie drafted at that point.
All right. Well, we were aggressive. We were aggressive because we wanted the movie, and I think Dan kind of played into that. I got the sense that I think he was driving up the bid a little bit. But we went in with the goal. We set the goal. We were gonna walk out with this movie. Did we think we were gonna get it for cheaper? Yeah, definitely. But the point is, we acquired this movie, and we both were pretty confident that it's going to do well. Now, 140, maybe lowballing it a little bit. Maybe it'll do.
I don't even know how widely this movie might not even be in all theaters. That's how small this film is. And it's not like it's Rosa Parks or something. It's Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Yeah, but the cultural zeitgeist, Sean. That's all I have to say.
Right.
I think you're going to be surprised.
Matt,
you're going to be surprised.
I would love to be proven wrong on this. I cannot tell you how much.
I can't wait. I would love that too. Well, I mean, only time will tell. But for now, I'm standing by the decision. I think it was a good decision.
So you say 140 on it, because I want this on the record. You say it's going to make 140. That's your target for it. I'm going to say if it tops 60, I'll be shocked.
That's okay. That's crazy. You thought my statement was crazy? I think that is crazy.
It's every small movie hidden Hidden Figures is I think what you're hoping for, right? Kind of that historical biopic about ladies, hits the culture.
Maybe
zeitgeist.
that's a better, more analogous than La La Land.
And that
but
did
yeah.
167.
Okay.
Is it possible? Yes. Is it going to happen? Absolutely not. Not a chance in hell. But we'll see. We'll see. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. I got a lot of
we are. I was trying to say that I was nervous when A Star Was Born was drafted at that point. But looking back on it, I think that, like you said, it's not really approaching Oscar territory or Emmy nomination territory. There is a lot of what did scare me about it though is that there is a lot of hype generated around it.
Look,
they're hyping the movie up.
It's going to make money, and like I said, 15's borderline for me. I don't think it's a bad buy necessarily. I just think I would have saved I wouldn't have, if I were playing, I would have stopped at, you're right, about 10 or 12 to go to 15. Hey, maybe we'll be proven wrong. It wouldn't surprise me. Mm-hmm. But by the time it gets any awards buzz, it'll be out of theaters. So
yeah, that's the premise for that.
We also had Venom for $22. Matt, what'd you think of that buy from the mystery team?
I think it's justifiable. It's a little high for me. But I mean, it's a hero movie, for Marvel, and those like Pixar, Disney, it prints money. Mm-hmm. You're guaranteed to. I think you're guaranteed to walk away with something, unless it's a total flop. But so far, I don't think that's ever really happened. The worst Marvel movies have still done. I don't know the numbers, but the worst Marvel movies have still done. I would say probably like upwards of the 200, 210 ranges.
Yeah, Ant-Man movies tend to do 200 to 250, which is kind of the lower end for Marvel. I know Justice League did just a hint over 200.
Yeah. So I think they can probably expect that same turnaround for Venom.
Yeah, and at $22 purchase, you expect $220 million at the box office. So, I think that's a fine buy. For them, you got to have a superhero movie in your slate. You have to have a franchise. And interestingly enough, we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Mystery Team buying both Venom and Aquaman. So we'll have to see how that helps them moving forward.
Aquaman's an interesting one. I heard the actor that plays Aquaman,
Jason Momoa.
Momoa, yes, Momoa apparently was very well received for his role as Aquaman in the Justice League movie. So reprising that role in a standalone film, you got to imagine he's gonna. I don't think he'll do as well as Venom, but I think they won't be disappointed. I don't think they'll be disappointed. Then again, it is Aquaman. But what Aquaman does have going for it, Sean, and feel free absolutely to disagree with me here, but I think Aquaman has that ironic appeal. He's besides Ant-Man, I think he's like the DC version of Ant-Man in the sense that they're both ironic superheroes.
But it's not.
He's not played
Paul
that
Rudd.
way.
It's not funny. Ant-Man is meant to have a lot of humor.
Yeah, it has the comedic backdrop going for it, and Aquaman is not played that way. I'm just saying, I think that'll draw people to the theater. Not that I think they'll enjoy the movie. But I think they'll be like, oh yeah, totally. Let's go see Aquaman.
But see,
I could see college kids doing that.
But if this movie came out in February,
I think that'll requite for its success, like drastic success. Right. I think that it will pull more people than expected. But I still don't think it will be that that successful. Just because it is still Aquaman at the end of the day.
It's just got too much stuff working against it. The DC universe blows and has no credibility. Even if you don't want to see Ant-Man, you're going to see it anyway because you've seen all the other Marvel films. It's got no push behind it. 2, it's got no big recognizable stars in it. Nicole Kidman maybe, but Jason Momoa no one really knows except for Aquaman. And none of the other, it's not like you've got Benedict Cumberbatch coming in or you've got Robert Downey Jr., like actors people know. It's coming out in the middle of a very busy Christmas, the same week as Bumblebee, a week after Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse comes out. So you're not going to get any kind of standalone buzz. I don't know why they released it at Christmas instead of doing it in February when there's no other movies. To me, and Marvel's been doing that for years. They put out Black Panther in February. It's got no competition. So I think it's going to be a fine movie. I think it'll be reasonably well received. The other issue, too, is that Wonder Woman, I think, did so well. Yes, it was a good movie and all that. I don't disagree. Female superhero, female director. It just had a good story behind it. It had something to be picked up in the media cycle, to be talked about and get people's attention in a crowded movie space. And I just think Aquaman has nothing to grab onto. Not even the ironic aspect of it being Aquaman at this point, because they've made a superhero movie out of Doctor Strange already, and everyone thought that was a dumb idea. And Ant-Man, no one thought you could do it. I think by now that sort of buzz of, well, it's Aquaman, it's impossible, you couldn't make a movie out of that. I think that's old. I put it this way. Mystery Team got Venom and Aquaman for a combined $42. I don't think that's bad. I think that's an okay double feature right there for them to own in the league. I think they'll make some decent money on those. They didn't pay $50 each for them. They could have done worse. So I'm not going to disagree with... I shouldn't bump into the microphone. I'm not going to disagree.
Microphone disagrees.
My hands are flailing wildly because I'm all excited, but I'm not going to disagree with their strategy on those. I mean, look, if I was in the league and Aquaman came up for $20, I'd probably buy it for $20. I don't think it's only got to make $200 million for that to make sense, and I think it can do that. So,
how much did they pay for Aquaman?
$20.
Okay.
Yeah. If you think about it. Spider-Man, which we'll get to some of these other Spider-Man going for 25, Bumblebee going for 15. So you're kind of right in the middle there. I think that's about right.
Yeah. What's our next movie?
Bad Times at the El Royale.
Okay. Bad Times at the El Royale.
It was purchased by
Beef Nuggets.
Yes, for $12.
$12. What do we think about this one?
It's a slight overbuy. I don't think it really stretches into double digits. This movie is going to be very forgettable, especially coming off of, one thing a lot of teams forget to do. I don't know if you did this when looking at your strategy, Matt, is to look at the movies that come out around a movie, especially the weekends before. When you look, I
tend to do that more for the summer drafts than for the winter drafts, just because you do have a lot more overlap, I think.
The issue for me is, and I don't think it happens as often, but when you look at Bad Times at the El Royale, it's coming out on a weekend with two other big movies, First Man and Goosebumps 2. Not that they compete for the same audiences, but you have big carryover from two movies with a lot of buzz. Venom and A Star is Born. There's no breathing room for this movie in theaters. I don't care how much marketing they do. I just don't know how you get a lot of attention for it, because it's not... I think the audience that would see that is probably going to go see Venom instead.
Yeah, like you said before, it is a standalone flick. It's not part of a greater universe, and it's easily forgettable.
The marketing is vague. It doesn't even really tell you what the movie's about, and I think that's because the plot's a little complicated. But all I know is it's got a couple big stars in it, but it's just forgettable.
Sure.
So $12, I think, is a little considering Goosebumps 2 in the same weekend went for $7, which is probably a more accurate price.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Calling it a little bit of an overbuy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But again, it's tough. Those, and you know this,
we'll
Matt.
See.
It's
we'll
the first couple. It's the first couple movies are always the toughest to bid on, because you don't know where people are at, who's going to spend a lot when.
Also, you don't want and I've done this before in previous drafts. You don't want to overbuy early in the draft and then find that you haven't budgeted correctly for the movies that you want. At least you want to walk away from the draft carrying the movies that you set in to buy, and being able to have the purchasing power behind that to get those to get those movies. So yeah. What's the next movie we got?
I was about to say, Matt, we've done 25 minutes on the show, and we've only done three movies. So we've got to pick up the pace here a little bit. We may not get through all of them in detail. First Man, astronaut movie with Neil Armstrong, Jake Gyllenhaal. That went for $14 to Team 7, and I'll say in the same weekend, Goosebumps 2 went to Beef Nuggets for $7. Again, rough decision purchasing two movies on the same weekend. I mean, they're competing against each other. Beef Nuggets decided to take that gamble.
All right. So we're talking about Goosebumps 2 and First Man.
Yeah.
I don't see the competition here. The people that go to see Goosebumps 2 are not going to be the people that go to see First Man.
True.
I'm personally, on a personal level, I'm very excited for First Man.
Oh, totally. No, it looks
probably
great.
More so than any of the movies on the list. It's the one, maybe Bohemian Rhapsody too, but it's the one movie that I'm like really excited to go see. Matter of fact, I'm going to see it this weekend. So you're welcome, Colby and Emily. Getting a little boost from me here. But I think that I actually personally think it might have been a little bit of an underbuy what they paid for First Man. I think that that was probably the first steal of the night. Not by much, but
It
I would
could
say
be.
it's the first steal of the night.
Again,
Like,
every time we do this, there's one sort of non-franchise awardsy type film that breaks out. We talked about Hidden Figures being a good example. Could First Man be that? Yeah, totally. I think that's completely plausible. I think 14 puts you can't spend much more and hope to get value out of it, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if it did. I mean, definitely going to get some awards buzz again. It's hurting that it's in early October, but I think it's definitely got legs to run. I think it's sort of the strongest contender of the weekend for your average moviegoer.
absolutely, and it does have that advantage that I mean, not much else is out on its opening weekend.
Yep.
Right. Not much else is already in theaters or premiering around it.
Yep.
And it's kind of the start of the kickoff of these winter movies. So.
Yep.
It does have that advantage for sure.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Mm-hmm.
And then quickly, Goosebumps 2. I don't know if you had any thoughts on that. $7. I think that's probably about where it should have gone.
That's about where it should have gone.
I think they'll make a little money on that. Actually, I think it'll go again if we use that comparison. That's $70 million. I think they'll actually probably make a little. It wouldn't surprise me if it went to 80 or 90. It's not going to top 100.
No. No. I think I think 90 is generous.
Yeah.
I think the 90 is a generous call for that movie. I don't think it's a movie that anybody wanted or anybody was clamoring for. I think that Jack Black kind of just needed another paycheck and he said, "Let's just make another Goosebumps movie."
Well, they make a ton of money on it overseas, and hey,
yeah,
that's good for them.
Mm-hmm. It's got some draw. Yeah.
Let's talk about Halloween. The next in the Halloween franchise, Team Lego My Trophy. Dan and Sarah picked that up for $13.
I do have to say I like how they trademarked Lego. I didn't see that on the night of the
they
draft.
They were very specific about
Lego
that.
trademark My Trophy.
They insisted it always be the TM logo, and I said, okay, we'll do it.
Good on them. All right, so Halloween. This is of course the remake. This was kind of unpredictable. I think as a whole, Lego My Trophy drafted very well. I have to say, they've got Halloween. I think that Halloween, the remake. What did they draft it for? What was the number?
$13.
13. I think it goes just that. I think it might have been a buck or two at a steal. I would have paid up to 15 maybe for it. At the time, though, being very budget conscious, I don't think we wanted to break the bank on it. But I think it has the potential to do very well. I think you have some fans of the franchise. See, it's got weight behind it because it's got the franchise, it's got the greater world around it.
And it's got really strong critic buzz.
And yes, it does. And it's been well advertised. It's been well marketed. Very well marketed.
Horror is very hot right now. It's the only horror film in our entire slate this time around. Horror historically real hit or miss for our leagues. I agree with you though, Matt. I think this one has a really good opportunity to break out, be a solid base hit. I think 13 is probably about right.
So you're saying Goosebumps 2 Haunted Halloween is not a horror movie, Sean?
It's going to be scary for somebody to watch. Probably the studio that financed it once they see the box office returns. That'll be the scariest thing of all. But hey, with kids movie again, $163 million for Hotel Transylvania 3. So what the hell do I know? Kids will see any shit. So, all right, Matt. Bohemian Rhapsody next up. Mystery Team bought it for $10.
This is another one I'm finding it very hard to put my thumb on. This Bohemian Rhapsody. I'm finding it very hard to track its true success, its telling success would be. Now, this movie is not out yet, right?
No, it comes out November 2nd.
Okay.
It's got a couple weeks.
It does have a lot of buzz, but it's not something I envision people flocking to see, unless you're a fan of the band Queen. If you like Queen, I think you're gonna you'll be there on opening night. I'm having a hard time. the trailers don't really make it quite clear what the movie is. I mean, it's a biopic that follows the band Queen. All right, but is it a musical? Like, are they gonna? Is it mostly just straightforward?
It's mostly
It's
just
a story.
straightforward. I think they perform
Story?
a couple songs as the band on the stage performing, but it's not a musical.
It just kind of follows the career and progression of the band Queen.
Yep.
Okay. I think it'll do fine. I think it'll do fine. I don't think it's gonna crash and burn. I think it's gonna just do fine for me, for my money.
I think this is nothing. I think this is nothing. I think this is 5 or 6 million. I think this is small. The biggest thing, we don't talk about this a lot on the draft, but a thing that impacts a lot of these smaller movies is how many theaters they're released in. There's a big difference. Avengers is in 4,000 theaters, 5,000 theaters. Some kind of middle-of-the-road movies, 2,000 theaters. This one might not even hit 1,000. I mean, these small movies don't get big, wide distribution, and that'll kill you at the box office because if it's not in the theaters, people can't see it. And I just think that it's just not a movie people are asking for. I think this will be people will buzz about it. I think there'll be some good on-demand DVD sales, but I don't think anyone's going to be running out to see it in theaters. I think this is not a movie I would have bid on if I was drafting. I just think I'm sure it'll be a fine movie. I just don't think there's these days you have to have a real draw to get people in the seats in the theater. That's why franchises do well. That's why award buzz movies do well. That's why stars do well. This movie has none of that.
Yeah.
So it's just a movie.
Yeah, I was going to mention the star, but there really isn't. There isn't.
There's
no names.
Rami Malek, right, from Mr.
Yeah.
Robot, who's playing Freddie Mercury. But other than that, it's nobody.
Right. It's not like, I mean, the antithesis of that in this draft would be A Star Is Born, right? We got or really the Lego Movie too. I should say
Mary Poppins Returns.
All have star power. This movie does not. So therefore, I don't think it's going to do too great.
It'll be one of our more forgettable ones, and that's okay. But there are worse movies in the draft, by the way, than Bohemian Rhapsody. I will say that. There are definitely worse movies. Big question mark on this next one. Nutcracker in the Four Realms. Gooper Troopers bought it for $10. This is another one of those Disney live-action fairy tale movies. I don't know if you've seen the trailer, Matt. It is upsettingly CGI.
Yeah.
It is like nauseatingly.
What did they pay for it?
They paid $10, which is very interesting.
Yeah. Generous, I think. The fact that it got up to 10 is kind of surprising.
I'm going to disagree.
Yeah.
I'm going to disagree. I don't think it goes much more. I think 10's actually probably closer to being right than it is going over, but it's coming out on a weekend when there's no other sort of kids, quote unquote, type movie competition. It's coming out against Bohemian Rhapsody, which I don't think anyone will care about. Goosebumps 2 will be long gone by then. Not a lot of competition in early November. And it is Disney. They'll market the shit out of it. You know, we look at a movie like Alice in Wonderland, which was an awful movie, and that made like $300 million. So do I think it's going to be the biggest movie of the year? No, but, you know, it's a struggle because it's not, Nutcracker isn't like Cinderella, you know? What a weird movie. Who thought this was a good idea at Disney? Seriously.
Yeah.
And what are the Four Realms?
I have to be completely honest. When I saw the trailer, my first gut instinct was this is just Disney trying to market something that they're trying to strike gold is what they're trying to do. They're trying to strike gold, and they're trying to strike gold in somebody's backyard. It's like, let's fire blindly at this. They've got the money now, after acquiring Avengers and Star Wars. I think they've got the money to just kind of fire where they want to fire, and they're blatantly making an appeal to holiday love, desire to see a holiday movie around a holiday. And it's like one of them probably just went to go see the Nutcracker and was like, hey, this hasn't been a movie in a while. Let's market this and whatever. Like, let's try to profit off of people's nostalgic love for the Rockettes or something.
The thing about 2 is this is one of those movies that you're like, why did they make this? And you're like, oh shit, it made $1 billion in China. That's why they made this movie. This is perfect for that audience. So
okay, you're right about that.
I think the question is it Beauty and the Beast or is it A Wrinkle in Time? two Disney based on franchise movies. One did really well, one didn't. For me, this is closer to A Wrinkle in Time. So it'll make money. $10 I don't think is an outrageous purchase price for it. Someone had to buy it, but it's not going to make or break anybody.
Yeah, I know. We're looking at the worldwide gross. This is a movie I think that.
Oh, if we were doing worldwide, totally.
If we were doing worldwide, I think would be super well. But here, domestic, I don't think you got a shot. I think this could have been given away for free. Also, what are the four realms?
I'm dying to know. Please, if anyone out there goes and sees this movie, email us upfordebatetv@gmail.com. Tell us, what are the four realms? They're the spin-off movies, Matt. That's what they're setting off the franchise.
Well, that's exactly it. Notice that it's not just called the Nutcracker. It's the Nutcracker and the four realms. So therefore, because it's subtitled, we can expect, if it does modestly, it doesn't even have to do well. If it just makes a modest gross, they'll pump out a sequel. And it's CG, so it's not like they really have to pay too many actors.
They probably already shot the four movies simultaneously, and they're just going to release it over the next couple of years.
They did it over a long weekend.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Weekend.
That's what they do in the Pirates movies. So, Matt, next up we got an animated kids film, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, purchased by Mystery Team for $22. We talked about this. The latest Grinch movie since 2000's, How the Grinch Stole Christmas with Jim Carrey, the highest-grossing movie that year. By Illumination Entertainment, the folks behind Despicable Me and Minions and the other Dr. Seuss's The Lorax.
Yeah. What was the pay for this? What was
$22 to the Mystery
$22 bid. Okay.
Yep.
Now, I'm very much forgetting everything about this movie. The trailer, I just went completely blank on it. Jim Carrey is not in this movie, correct?
No, and it looks like the Minions. It looks like it's that style. It's the same company. Secret Life of Pets. It's kind of that same animated style.
Oh, okay. It is coming. I thought it was a video game trailer at first. I didn't think it was a movie.
Yeah,
I remember watching the trailer and being like, "Oh, Sean accidentally tagged the trailer to a video game on this." It looks very much like a kid's video game. Yeah, I don't see that. I mean, what is the? You know what it does have going for it, where that it's not the Nutcracker. I think kids will actually like this movie and not be bored by it. I think the Nutcracker will bore the kids, whereas I think the Grinch is kind of like, especially because it looks like a computer game or a video game. I think it might do okay.
Matt, by the way, I love that we're disagreeing on some of these, which we rarely do on the show, so that's great. But I'm actually pretty gangbusters on the Grinch, and here's why. Again, not a lot of kids competition that time of year, which is always good when you look, and kids movies always do well. I'll give you a little fun fact for you, okay? The Illumination Entertainment, obviously, who makes all these animated films, their best film was Secret Life of Pets, did $368 million. You owned it in our very first movie draft.
Correct.
Among their bottom, Dr. Seuss's The Lorax did $214 at the box office. So there's your range. So I think you're talking minimum $200 on this film. It is a franchise people know because it's The Grinch. Yes, a lot of Grinch movies have been made, but I think it is a movie parents will want to take their kids to see. It's not an annoying Minions movie. It's a franchise they know. The Lorax, not as well known. I think this is a $250 movie. I think $22 is a good buy for that. And I think, like I said, you got to have a kids movie to win the league, or at least be in the running for it. And this was, I think, a good buy for someone who didn't want to spend Fantastic Beasts or Mary Poppins money, but you still want a kids movie. I think The Grinch, I think it's a solid buy.
Fair enough. Yeah. Solid buy is a good word, I think. It's
not like a breakout must own.
Yeah, but I think it's going to help them. I think it's going to make up for Aquaman a little bit.
We've had teams win who didn't have the highest grossing movie that year. If you get 3 or 4 of these that's how Colby and Emily were in second last year, is they didn't have any huge movies, but they had a bunch of kind of pretty good movies. So, if that's your strategy, this is a good, if you can get this and 2 other like it, you got a shot at winning.
Yeah. We'll see.
Our next movie we'll breeze through quick. It's Overlord, the World War II horror fantasy film, $10 to Team 7. This movie is going to make about $5 at the box office and be quickly forgotten. $10 was way overpaying for Team 7. This is like a $5 movie.
Yeah, it'll go pretty fast because I agree with you solidly on this.
I only picked it because when I pick these 30 movies, it's hard to find 30 movies. So a couple have to slip in that aren't really going to do much. Sorry.
Yeah, this barely rates an honorable mention.
Yeah.
So
So we'll head through that. But to the next big one, Matt, you know something about this movie, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald.
Yes.
Team Mether, congratulations. You guys bought it for $30. Not technically the most expensive, but the last couple expensive were because people were spending the rest of their money. So it really was the most expensive when people had money.
And that's the thing about the draft is that it towards the end, I would say that they kind of like the beginning and the end are both shootouts. I think they're shootouts because people come in, a little trigger happy in the beginning, excited and really like ready to get in there and bid. And then in the end, of course, they may have some disposable income, especially if they've gotten money, they've gotten movies for less than they expected to pay for them. Maybe they've got a little extra money in their pocket and they're willing to either burn it or try to burn out another team, which is always a strategy that we love to do and try to make other people spend money they don't have. So, that being said, I think that we did a good purchase on this. I think that Fantastic Beasts, and I'll tell you why. I think that people are jonesing a little bit. I think for another Harry Potter movie, it's about time that the collective audience had their fix, had their heroin shot to the arm of Harry Potter. It's been a while since the first Fantastic Beasts. I think that as we get closer to the premiere date, which is when is it open?
It is coming out November 16th.
As we get closer to it, I think you're going to see a hell of a lot of marketing thrown at it and put behind it by the production company there for Harry Potter. I think that they're gonna really market the shit out of it. So I think it's gonna do well. I think that this is kind of our like expecting it's gonna do well. Basis of Sex maybe a little bit of a gamble, but I think this one is a pretty fair, solid bet.
Oh, this is easily top 2, if not the top movie in the draft. I could throw in a couple others, but it's easily top 3. I think one thing that's interesting is the first Fantastic Beasts movie is the lowest grossing movie in the Harry Potter film franchise. So you're not talking full Harry Potter money. However, it's going to be an interesting test case to see how much Harry Potter fatigue there is, because I think people checked in on the first Fantastic Beasts because they said, oh, it's the first post-Harry Potter film. It's the first standalone. People were curious. They're interested. Did they like what they saw the first time around? Will they circle back for a sequel? Big question marks there. I genuinely don't know the answer, because if you told me a wild success, I believe you, and if you told me people didn't show up, I'd also believe you. Nonetheless, I think $30 is a great buy. I was surprised when we were on the stream, because most of the time top movies go for $45-$50. So I thought, wow, Fantastic Beasts for $30, that's bananas. And that's why we had so much money left at the end, because people just weren't spending it this time around. So I think 30 was a good price. I was expecting it to go for 40 or 50. So I think you guys did good. I would consider it a must own. It's going to make a lot of money. So
yeah. Yeah, I think that key term that's going to differentiate it in my mind, and why I think it'll be maybe a bigger success. And I know that that's a lot to put on this movie, a lot to assume, but I think the key word in the title here is Grindelwald. I think that he is a character in the Harry Potter lore.
True.
That generates a lot of interest. Generates definitely a lot of people that want to know more about him.
Well, he's got all those crimes.
Yes, and we want to know what those crimes are. We definitely want to know what kind of crimes he's committing. They have to do with Fantastic Beasts. Hopefully they're not crimes of passion. So I think that's going to generate some more interest and might get people to go see the movie that maybe we're tuning out. Would I consider putting a lot of money on the third Fantastic Beasts? We'll see. We'll see how this one does.
You can only predict.
Generally, there's a decline, and there's definitely a field of diminishing returns with something like this.
We saw it with Solo over the summer. People get tired of these franchises after a while. Will this movie be it? I don't know.
Yeah, and we'll have to see.
But even
And
Solo
then again,
made 200 million. So
it's also but it's also not like we've seen a Harry Potter movie every single year. Fantastic Beasts it's been like what, 2 years now, 3 years
since the last one came, it was 16. So yeah, 2 years.
Yeah, it's been 2 full years since we've gotten the last Harry Potter. They're oversaturating it with Star Wars, and I think that Disney knows that now since they canceled all future projects or retained them. So
yeah. No, hey, great buy. Great buy. A good centerpiece of your slate. Our next film here, Creed 2. Lego My Trophy. Dan and Sarah purchased that for $14. I don't know. It'll be interesting. Again, a big question mark. I mean, we talked about this on the stream. The first Creed film did 109 at the box office. So a good amount. 14 probably a little high, but,
yeah.
We'll see. It's a unique film that time of year. It's not really, I don't know what it competes against. So it does stand a bit on its own. Like I said, Michael B. Jordan really hot coming off of Black Panther. So I think this is a good opportunity for him.
On a personal note, and I don't know why. I really want to say this. I didn't really care for Michael B. Jordan in Black Panther.
What?
I didn't care for him. I know that everybody went really kind of ham over him, and they loved him in it. I didn't think that was his best performance. I think he's a tremendous actor.
Well,
I think
was he
acts
better
very
in?
well in other things. He was better in The
Fantastic
Wire.
Four.
Ever see The Wire? He was great. Wire. He was
no, I haven't seen The
he was about 15 years old or 14 when he did his role in The Wire.
So
And
I think
thought he was excellent in that movie. Maybe I'm just holding him up to that standard. But
I think we both agree he's a fantastic actor. You just think he was fine in Black Panther.
yes, I don't think he crapped the bed or anything. I don't think he was as good. People think that Killmonger is like the greatest villain.
Well, but Marvel also has a lot of weak-ass villains, too, to be fair.
I thought Loki was a better villain than him.
Oh, I'm tired of Loki. That's the thing. They burned him. It was fun the first time.
I just thought he was a better villain, a better acted villain.
So then who was better in Black Panther, Michael B. Jordan or Chadwick Boseman?
Okay. Well, all right. Probably Michael B. Jordan, but not by much.
You're probably just going to go with Lupita Nyong'o and call it a day.
Yes. Oh, there you go. Yes. Lupita Nyong'o. Yes.
Andy Serkis.
I thought I thought Black Panther was a great actor. I thought he did a phenomenal job as Black Panther.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's just my 2 cents.
It's a fine. There's nothing wrong, and I agree with you. I didn't think it was a transcendent performance. I just think in the pantheon of Marvel villains, I think he's a top tier. It's just that they've had. I would go like him. Keaton as the Vulture. Loki.
I would put Loki.
And
then again, you got to think about what other villains have they? Well, I mean, what about Thanos?
Oh yeah, okay. I guess you got to throw him.
Come
in
on,
there.
He's number one.
But he was in like 8. He's been in. He's kind of like.
He's been in basically all of them. Well, yeah, with where they're all together. He's been in the post-credit scene. He's a great villain.
I secretly love. Crap. What's the actor's name? Oh no, this is gonna really. But from the first Ant-Man, he was the villain in the first. Corey Stoll, who I just love. Corey Stoll in anything he does. First season of House of Cards, he was great. The Strain, he was great in. And it's Ant-Man is such a mediocre movie, but I just love Corey Stoll as the villain in that. I just had to say. Anyway, Creed 2, Matt, a fine purchase. Yeah. I don't know, $14, maybe high, maybe low. Hell if I know. I wouldn't have spent $14 on it, but
yeah. I don't know why, but Corey Stoll, I maybe it's because of his performance in House of Cards, which he was excellent in. I always think he should run for some kind of political office.
Oh, I would so vote for Corey
I envision him as like a town mayor or something, or like maybe even like a House of Rep. Yeah.
Yeah, he should do it. Corey Stoll for president, Next up, Ralph Breaks the Internet. $30 to Lego My Trophy. Same purchase price as Fantastic Beasts. I'm going to jump right in and say I think that's a bit of an overbuy. Ralph Breaks the Internet is such a weird movie to me because, yes, the first one did well. Okay, it made money. It did $189 million, which is nothing to sneeze at, but it did it back in 2012, 6 years ago. which is
Yeah.
forever in kids' movies. And all of the early buzz around this film has been nothing but bad.
Yeah. That I'll even go more pessimistic than you. I think this is gonna be a wet fart of a movie.
I mean,
in terms of box office revenue.
I think it'll
like
hit
you
100.
said, 6 years. That's what it comes down to, is those 6 years. 6 years since a Wreck-It Ralph film.
Well,
think about the kids that went to see Wreck-It Ralph are now teenagers.
I think the thing about the first Wreck-It Ralph, though, is the gimmick was that it was something new and fresh we hadn't seen before. The fact that it's a sequel totally negates that. Why am I going to see this movie? Because I loved the characters in the first movie? No, that's not why the movie was fun. Oh, what's up with the Wreck-It Ralph crew? It's like, who gives a shit? Like, nobody cares about this movie.
It was the nostalgia factor. It was like, oh, look at all these video games. They're referencing about. It was the Ready Player One factor. Let's just throw a whole bunch of memories and nostalgia at you, because it makes you feel good. You can remember the good old days.
I
don't know what this is going to do. What will this do? Will it reference a bunch of like YTMND or something? Like
Fortnite? No, yeah. I think no, because they've already teased in the trailer. The big thing they're going for is all the princesses, or all the Disney princesses, have like a scene in it where all the princesses are hanging out together. But I have to imagine that's only a small part of the film. But that's what all the marketing has been around, which scares the shit out of me, because it's like, if you only show one interesting part of your movie, what's the rest of it about?
Well, they did that in the first movie. They had that like video game
with
Villains
all the
Anonymous,
yeah.
and had that Bowser was there, and
but that was one scene in a bigger movie. That's what I'm saying. Like, no one can tell me the plot. The plot is Ralph goes to the internet. That's not a plot. That's a sentence. Like, what happens? What is it about?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they don't want to. Maybe they want to show and not tell. Maybe they want to hold their cards back for that. But I don't think this is gonna do much.
It wouldn't surprise me to do 100 or 150, but to spend $30 on it is crazy. That's the same as Fantastic Beasts, and it's going to do half, if not less. So,
if I may, examine the psyche of this pick, and I'm going to get into the heads of Dan and Sarah here. Okay, I think maybe they chose. Yeah, really. I think they chose this movie. Sorry, there was a bunch of dogs outside barking. They distracted. Okay.
Big Ralph fans.
Yeah, clearly they're mad. They're PO'd right now about us tearing this pick apart. But I think that when they chose this, they're really banking on the nostalgia factor. They're banking on the franchise, because it is usually a solid bet to put money on sequels, to put money on a world that's already established. But 6 years is a long time.
Well, I bet they greenlit it the month after it came out back in 2012, and then they just took forever to make it, and shame on them.
Yeah, agreed.
It doesn't make sense. We really got to keep moving here, Matt. I mean, it's good stuff. We got to keep moving. Robin Hood, you bought it, $5. Congrats, buddy.
All right, that
the cheapest movie in the whole draft. I mean, the thing about a $5 movie is you can make profit on a $5 movie. I mean, it's only $5, but man, no one's going to give a shit about this movie.
No, and I think that's why.
Again, an international film.
Yeah. Worldwide box office, maybe.
Yep.
Got Jamie Foxx in it, and who I don't remember who's the other guy. Who's he acting alongside? Jamie Foxx and
Taron Egerton.
Okay, whoever the hell that
Young
is.
guy with abs, like in all these movies.
Sure. Yeah. All right.
He's from The Kingsman.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Says
Like you said, international gross will do good. Domestic, no.
Oh,
but
man.
$5 is $5.
On Box Office Mojo, there's a whole category of movies about medieval times. Can you guess what the highest grossing movie they say is about medieval times?
A Knight's Tale. Or Princess Bride.
No. A Knight's Tale is 6. A Princess Bride is 16th.
What the hell?
But these are not adjusted for inflation.
That's a crime. I'm sorry. That's the fact that that's not in the top 10. Where's Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Robin Hood Men in Tights is 12. It's more than The Princess Bride.
Sad. But that was also a good movie, so. What's number 1?
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, 1991's with, who was that, Kevin Costner? Yeah.
Is number one?
Is number one. After that is a 2010's Robin Hood with Russell Crowe.
God, that makes me want to throw up.
Yeah,
honestly, that really does.
Third
then
is
again, it's not
Braveheart.
adjusted for inflation, like you said, and I hope to God, if they were to adjust it for inflation, Princess Bride would be in the top three. It deserves to be. Knight's Tale deserves to be up there too. Knight's Tale deserves to be top 5. Gosh.
Yeah.
That literally makes me want to vomit. That Russell Crowe movie was a piece of shit.
All right.
It should not have been
cool your
number
jets,
2.
buddy. All righty. That's been Robin Hood. Let's talk quickly about second act. That Jennifer Lopez comedy film. Team 7 bought it for $7. Okay. Again, just coming out at such a crowded time. There's going to be so many movies in theaters right around here. But this seems like a movie like your mom would go see. So, that type of audience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
Forgettable.
Fine. Mortal Engines. Lego My Trophy bought it for $6. Again,
Okay.
this won't make any money.
Gosh, yeah. You could have. I think you could have scaled back these movies a little bit, maybe trimmed the fat a little bit.
I had to have 30. Because when you have 6 teams, you got to have enough movies for people to draft. The thing is, though, I say every movie has to be purchased. The cheapest movie we've ever sold was, I think, $4 or $5. So nobody's ever even bid $1 and gotten a movie. So someone's bidding on these.
That's pretty shocking.
That's not on me. That's on you guys.
Yeah. But then again, I mean, you can't lose money, right? A film very rarely is going to, pull in
$0? No.
Yeah.
That
can't happen.
And
right?
the other thing I'll point out is that every team, usually, you were the only team who didn't, leaves money at the end. So why not buy a $5 movie when you end up, Team 7, just as an example, left $16 on the table. All right, buy a $5 movie. You're not hurting anything as long as you have money left to buy the big stuff.
And that's really the philosophy of how we came up with Robin Hood, Ad Astra, Hard Powder, and pretty much all of our movies except for Fantastic Beasts and On the Basis of Sex.
Yeah. No, I think second act, Mortal Engines, Robin Hood, all in that sort of cheap range. Yeah, not terrible buys.
Mm-hmm.
We did have a big purchase. Team 7 picked up Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse for $25. Probably about right. That's going to be a big movie, big franchise film.
Would you say top 3 in the draft?
If I had to, just quickly, my top 3, it's tough to do 3. But if I were doing it, my top 3 would probably be Fantastic Beasts, Spider-Man, Mary Poppins Returns, but Lego Movie 2 is just such a close fourth. Is probably my top. What about you?
Same thing. I would say I'd put Lego Movie 2 higher.
So
what would you
drop?
Put that second.
Interesting.
I would drop Mary Poppins down. Mary Poppins to 4. To number 4.
That's our next movie here. Mary Poppins, purchased by Gooper Troopers for $25. For me, like I said, Incredibles 2 was a must-own over the summer. I think Mary Poppins Returns is going to be big, shockingly big money.
Okay, I want you to definitely sell me on this.
Combination of recognizable brand that grandparents will take their grandkids to. Emily Blunt, Lin-Manuel Miranda doing music in the movie. The marketing power of Disney. It's around Christmas. They're going to shove this movie down. This will be more Beauty and the Beast than A Wrinkle in Time. The buzz around this movie will be massive.
Interesting.
That is my selling point. If at the end of this you told me that was the number 1 movie of the winter, I would believe you. I truly do. Now, maybe it won't be. I wouldn't call it a guarantee, but I think this has awesome potential to break out.
Okay.
Kids movies. It's all about kids movies, Matt.
Yeah,
kids movies and superhero films.
I don't doubt it, but what is it up against? What's the competition for that weekend?
Well, the problem is it's right in that Christmas, so a bunch of movies are coming out. But let me tell you everything. So there's probably about 8 movies coming out there. But let me tell me which of these are for kids. Second Act, Mortal Engines, Spider-Man. I'll give you that one.
Spider-Man.
I'll give you that one, but not for real young kids.
No, yeah, that's more the.
Mary Poppins, I think, skews a little younger. Aquaman, Bumblebee.
Yeah. Bumblebee could be kids.
Yeah, but that seems a little gritty. Seems a little gritty to me. Holmes
Maybe.
and Watson with Farrell and Riley, not for kids.
No.
Welcome to Marwin and On the Basis of Sex. I mean, there's nothing for kids. There's Spider-Man, but nothing for the real young kids. You know, this is like the Grinch type audience, right? Where you can take a 6-year-old to go see it.
Will it be that though, or will it be more for like the older?
Well, it's a good question, right? Where do you balance in the stuff for
Like
kids
the
and the
crowd that
references for
remembers-
adults? Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
the
movie
crowd that
set in the
remembers Mary Poppins.
1920s, I think, or the 1930s. So how much of that
Yeah.
will be for kids, I don't know. But I think that Lin-Manuel Miranda all it needs is a Let It Go type song to break out of it. Holy shit. Boom.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
You're printing money.
We'll see. We'll see.
But I'm very hot on that movie, I will say.
Or are people or will parents be like, Lin-Manuel Miranda, that's the guy that swears a lot and raps. I'm not going to take my kid
Does he swear a
to
lot?
that. Well, he's in Hamilton, yeah.
Yeah, but like just in general, he seems like a pretty.
No, I'm
mild
talking
guy.
about like in his song.
No.
Then again, he also made that song for Moana.
Yeah.
Okay. No. I don't know. I think this is going to be a real interesting thing to see play out.
I think it's going to be successful either way. It's just for me, it's a question of does it slide into the top 3 of the
we're
winter?
talking, we're talking top 3.
Yeah.
Talking top tier. Like I said, I think it'll do 4 or 5. I think it's
right
gonna
now, Matt, do you think it's going to beat which is going to be more, Spider-Man or Mary Poppins?
I'm going to go with Spider-Man.
I'm going to say
I have to go with
you're
Spider-Man.
probably right, but it's going to be close.
It'll be close, but Spider-Man.
You're probably
it's
right.
still Marvel at the end of the day.
That's true. Speaking of other big franchise films, next up, Aquaman. Mystery Team bought it for $20. We also got Bumblebee, purchased by Beef Nuggets for $15.
We talked a lot about Aquaman.
We did talk about Aquaman. What about Bumblebee? What do you think about Bumblebee at 15?
Now this is hard for me to connect with on a personal level because I've never actually seen a Transformers movie.
Not a one.
Not a one. Not a one.
That would be a fun thing to do for the show.
I have never seen a Transformers movie. I don't have any desire to see it.
Oh my God, Matt. We are doing a Transformers marathon to see how long you can get through watching these movies. Because they only get worse. They only get worse. So it's like, because what, there are 5 of them?
I just have no loving memory for the Transformers franchise, Sean. I didn't grow up watching it. I didn't play with the toys. I have no knowledge of the lore. I didn't care when it came out, and so I never watched any of the Transformer movies. That being said, from what the buzz that I'm getting from people that do like these movies and or at least like this franchise, is that this movie is going in a different direction. Apparently, it's got different Transformers or something. They're in different costumes, or they look different appear. They look more like the kids show from the 80s. So people like that. Also, Michael Bay has nothing to do with it. So, or at least on a direct,
he's not
right, but not on a directorial level. So, I think people like that because a lot of people don't like him.
Right.
And I think it's because every movie he has to have like explosions and shit. Like it's not really about anything but the explosions and the CGI. At least it's his internet meme version of him. So, I think 15 is probably a little much, maybe. Well, I don't know anything about the timing though. When is it coming out?
Again, it's in that really busy weekend. That's what scares me. Is it's like it's coming out.
Oh, that's right.
Within days of
Christmas
Aquaman
weekend.
and a week after Spider-Man. It's like, who's going to go see that over Aquaman or Spider-Man? Because I'm assuming it's the same audience, right?
Yeah. I think this might beat Aquaman.
I would be shocked. I would be floored.
I don't think that's so far of a stretch. Okay. I think that when you're talking about kids movies, and also this is Aquaman we're talking about. Like it's like you said, it's a DC movie.
But I think it does have more buzz going into it than Bumblebee because it's Aquaman, because it's coming off of Justice League. I just think like everyone is. I think people are more tired of Transformers than they are of DC movies. I think the only thing that saves Bumblebee is if there's any critic praise on it when it comes out.
Yeah.
Because I think people are going to assume it sucks until someone tells them otherwise. And for the record, I liked the first Transformers movie with Shia LaBeouf. I thought it was kind of funny, and it's not that bad of a movie. And the rest of them were terrible, but that one was not bad.
Okay.
If you get a chance to see it, don't ever see the rest of them. They're horrendous. Anyhow.
All right, we'll see that. Yeah.
Next up, Holmes and Watson, Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly, $10 to Lego My Trophy. I think this is more, you look at Will Ferrell's career, not all hits. He's had a mix. For every Anchor Man, he had Get Hard, The House, Semi-Pro, The Campaign. He has it's a little Melissa McCarthy in that respect, where he has his big ups and his big downs. I think this is going to be more of a miss than a success. I think this is, like I said, I compare it to a movie like Get Hard, if you remember that one with Kevin Hart. That one did $90 million. I think this could probably do about the same. And for a $10 purchase, I think that's probably about right.
Sure. Yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet on that one. I think that Will Ferrell as an actor, I think he takes on so many jobs. He takes on so many roles, and some of them are bound to fail. Some of them are bound to really tank.
And many of them have.
For whether it's the writing or just people are sick of Will Ferrell. I don't know, but
I forgot he was in so many of these.
He's been in a lot of movies.
Land of the Lost.
Think that, yes, John C. Reilly was in that.
Yeah, he was. The Campaigns, like I said, Semi-Pro.
Now, see, here's the thing, though. Oof. He is now acting again with John C. Reilly from Step Brothers. Like can they bring that magic? Can they recreate that magic? Because they definitely had chemistry in that movie.
But I think it being Watson, I think it being Sherlock Holmes actually hurts them, not helps them. Because I think when they're playing like weird offbeat characters who have, like an Anchorman or in something like this, I think that helps them more. As soon as they're Sherlock Holmes, you're like, oh, I don't want to see another Sherlock Holmes movie, even if it is those guys.
Yeah. As a whole, I think we can agree that this isn't going to be this isn't going to be anything to worry about.
Mediocre. Welcome to Marwin with Steve Carell, beef nuggets for $7. Again, could be an awards breakout film, but otherwise this will be very small. 7 might even be generous.
Yeah.
It's just not a big movie.
It's not. It's really not. Not much to say about it.
Nope. We talked about On the Basis of Sex, so I won't reiterate our conversation on that. Ad Astra, you bought it for $8. The Brad Pitt in outer space movie. Big mystery. I literally couldn't even find what it was really about. So this is hell if I know. It wouldn't surprise me. This is in my top 3 most likely to get pushed that you may get a replacement movie for. So I guess $8 is fine. It's not a ripoff. I just have no idea what's up with it.
Yeah, you want to know my theory on this, and this is going to be completely out of left field. So listeners, get ready for this one. This one's going to be we're going off the tracks on this. So remember the movie Gravity?
I sure do.
Starring
Sandra Bullock and George Clooney.
Yes. Was it Sandra Bullock? I don't know. For some reason, I thought it was the other one that I always get confused with Sandra Bullock. She's got short black hair.
Julia Roberts?
No.
That's who I always get confused with.
Really?
Her. Yep. And I don't know why, because they're not really that similar.
No. I was thinking Anne Hathaway. She's even less similar.
No.
But
no, it's definitely Clooney and Bullock.
Yeah. So all right.
That did $274, by the way.
Well, I'm thinking. I know that movie. Don't even get me started on that movie. But so Clooney. I'm thinking this movie here, Ad Astra. Pitt is playing a younger version of Clooney's character from Gravity.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, kind of crazy. Kind of. Some people might say outlandish. They might say, "What the hell? Where did you get that from?" But that's my thinking.
Where did you get that from?
So you know how Clooney he had that story about New Orleans and being in a cafe in New Orleans. It was in Gravity.
Yeah.
And he would talk about the sunrise or something in a cafe. And Brad Pitt I think is from. He's from this. Maybe he's not from New Orleans, but he might be from New Orleans or the South or something. That's literally the only connection I have here.
You're crazy, dude. That's bizarre.
Like I said, it's. I mean, I think. I think he's a. He's a. Oh no, he's not from New Orleans. He's from Shawnee, Oklahoma. Which okay. I don't know. That's
roll with it. Hey,
that's
own
my
it.
thinking.
Yeah, go with it.
Own it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just.
I don't actually think that's what it's going to be about. I just have to fill in the gaps somehow. Like
Are you watching the baseball game?
No, I have the hockey game on.
That's worse.
I just had to flip. I had to check the score.
I don't mind. Hey, look, I've watched football while we're doing the show before, so I'm not gonna. But you just kept turning away. I'm like, he's watching something, but I assume. But I'm like,
literally, it's the last 17 seconds of the game. So
like, he's not a big Dodgers Brewers
fan. I had to turn and check the score, and I'm pleasantly surprised. The Devils are beating the crap out of the Caps right now, 6-0. So. I've also got several Devils players on my fantasy team that I think are going to be doing well tonight. So
Matt, we're almost done. Let's keep moving on here. Glass, purchased by Mystery Team for $21. M. Night Shyamalan's conclusion to his big old franchise. Big trailer came out today. I don't know if you saw it. New trailer
for Glass.
For Glass, yes. It seemed pretty interesting.
Didn't see it.
Could be a nice pickup for them. I mean, $21 isn't cheap, but then again, if you still have that much money that late in the draft,
what is this movie about? What is Glass about?
This is M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable and Split. This is the third in the trilogy of those movies.
Oh, right. Okay, that was great. I give him a lot of credit for that, for tying Split in with Unbreakable, just because. It's something I didn't think people saw coming. I think people were kind of blown away by the ending, connecting and kind of building a larger universe organically. I give him a lot of credit as a director for doing that.
I mean,
it's hard to do. I mean, it's hard to not just come out and say this movie is part of a larger universe and grow it organically in that way. In a way that was unexpected, that very Shyamalanian twist. It was good.
I think he's ready for a comeback, and there's no reason why Split was a little bit of a comeback, so there's no reason why he can't keep it going with this. So 21's a big question mark, but then again, January's a very quiet time for movies, so it could be a nice pickup there. Next, we got Heather. You and Heather picked up for $9 Hard Powder. Liam Neeson kicks more ass in another movie.
Yeah,
I think even no offense, man. I think $9 might have even been overpaying.
Yeah, this was toward the end, and we were just kind of we wanted to spill our cash. We wanted to be the one, and surprisingly, we are the one group that spent all of our money. This
which is great. That although I did do the research, spending all your money doesn't make you more likely to win. So far, when we've done these. But his last movie, The Commuter, only did about $36 million. His last.
I meant to go and see that, and then I totally forgot about it.
Like
which
most
is probably
of America.
Why I did $1 million. Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Taken 3, $89 million. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. Interesting. We'll keep moving here. Lego Movie 2, $51 to Beef Nuggets. I mean, they weren't really spending $51. They were just kind of blowing out the rest of their money. But that's gonna be a big movie. That's gonna be a big movie. I mean, we talked earlier. Lego Movie propelled you to a win a couple years ago, and I think that's a great kids movie to own. Wouldn't surprise me if that was a top 5 film. So
when we were when we were going in, you have choices to make. If we had $200 instead of $100, sure, absolutely. I would have not even given it a second glance. I would have bid the rest of it that I had on Lego Movie 2.
Yeah, it's a $200 movie.
It's a shame. You gotta pick and choose. So.
Yep.
That was one of the ones that Heather and I had a discussion on. Do we want to go for Fantastic Beasts? Do we want to budget for Lego Movie 2 instead? In the end, the call we made was Fantastic Beasts, and we hope it pays off. So.
It's so hard when it's that late in the draft because you got to really have a really hold all your money, and that's tough to do. So I get where you're coming from. You did get the next movie though, What Men Want, for $21. Now, of course, you didn't really pay $21. You were kind of spending the rest of your budget, but a nice little pickup there for you, the comedy film.
Right. Like we said
Can't
before,
hurt.
it can't hurt. It can't hurt you.
Yep.
So why not? Why not just spend the rest of your cash on it? It could be the difference between, third and fourth place or something.
Yep.
Or third and second, something like that. So
Yep.
I would try to get movies where you can.
Then after that, last franchise film, How to Train Your Dragon: The Hidden World, the third in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. The first one did 217, the second one did 177. Third one, I'll put it at 125. They picked it up for 49. Gooper Troopers, of course, was their last film, so that was their money. But a fine pickup. It'll make some money for sure.
Sure.
And then our last movie, The Rhythm Section, $28 to Team 7. A movie so vague, there's really no information about what it's even about, other than it stars Blake Lively. So I don't think anyone really cares. And the only reason it's included is because it was the very last movie before the weekend after it is the release of Captain Marvel from Marvel, which will probably be the first movie in our summer draft. So that's why it was not included.
The Rhythm Section is probably going to be like, remember Drumline? It's going to be like a remake of Drumline, I bet.
I mean, that's a good theory. I do know it is
just solely based on the title. I don't know about anything else about the movie, but
I do know it is something about like someone is killed in a plane crash that was really a conspiracy, and it's like a kind of a thriller movie, action movie.
Okay.
Why the Rhythm Section? Not a clue. Dying to find out.
Yeah. Just like we're dying to find out what the crimes of Grimbleman
and his terrible and his fantastic crimes.
Crimes of Grinderman. We'll find out what his crimes are.
I like that. All right, Matt, why don't we do this? Because we are definitely over in time, but that's okay. We're not paid by the minute. Let's look at the teams here, and let's wrap up by picking maybe a team or two you think did a really bad job and a team or two you think did a really good job. And I can go first, or if you want to start.
I want to jump in. I'll jump in first to say the team that I think I liked their picks, and if we want to talk trades, maybe they might be open to some trades.
I do want to point out, including the first one all these years, a trade is legal in the movie league, and no one has ever even suggested doing one, and I would love nothing more than a trade.
I think that would be fun. I think that would be a fun thing. The team that is kind of standing out for me right now, and I'm going to exclude us. I really like Colby and Emily. I like their lineup. I like First Man. I think is going to do real well. I think Spider-Man is going to kill it. That's the problem, though. The problem is that it kind of stops there. But those two movies, could they propel them to victory? Not likely, but maybe. Maybe. I do like those two picks, though. I like them in tandem. Other than that, I think Kaylee and Brian are going to do real well. Lego Movie 2 is going to destroy it. I think maybe if I'm looking at all of them, I think they may have the best chance of winning right here. Lego Movie 2, Goosebumps 2, and Bumblebee. I mean, they got some real good picks there. And I may be giving too much credit to Goosebumps 2 right now, but Lego Movie 2, there was a time when that would be enough to solidify a victory. The problem here, I think that everybody kind of solidified a solid pick. The only one I'm looking at right now, and I'm going, maybe they didn't, is the mystery team. Because Venom is kind of their big draw right there. But then again, we don't know what the power of the Grinch might be. It's a question mark. So what they have to hope for is they have to hope that they have to hope that Grinch is gangbusters, and they have to hope that Bohemian Rhapsody becomes the mystery hit for the mystery team. And I just don't see that happening, but maybe they know something we don't. So
fair enough.
That's my take on it. That's my strong pick is Beef Nugs. Weak pick is Mystery Team.
Matt, I love that we aggressively disagree on this.
Okay.
I strongly disagree with your picks, and here's why. First of all, my team who fell on their face, and I'm so sorry to say this, don't take it personally, Dan and Sarah, Lego My Trophy, they have nothing. They have nothing. Halloween, Creed 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, Mortal Engine, Holmes and Watson. That is an awful slate. I'm sorry, guys, and I feel for them. And I don't know what. And they still have $27 left.
That's the shame.
I don't know what happened to them.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't buy anything. Baffling to me. So I feel bad. I'm sorry, guys, but I just have to be honest. That's a weak slate. Who is my favorite, Matt? Can you believe it? I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna pick who I think my top two are.
Okay.
I think you're right in that everyone pretty much got one big movie. The question is who got more than one big movie. And for me, I look at your team. Fantastic Beasts is great. I really wish, because I was looking at the math, right before you bought on the basis of sex, you had over $50. If you had just held on to it and bought the Lego movie, I would have said you were the team to beat.
Yeah, that's we made our call. That's our call.
It is what it is.
I still maintain. I think that there's a lot of angry women out there that are gonna flock to the theaters to see On the Basis of Sex.
I'm rooting for you on that. I will say beef nuggets. I got Lego Movie 2, but I don't think Bumblebee is going to be big enough, and everything else is kind of nothing burger. Team 7, Spider-Man, great. Again, everything else, small potatoes. I like Gooper Troopers, and I like Mystery Team, and here is why. Gooper Troopers, A Star is Born, modest hit, Nutcracker, ? Mary Poppins could be big, and How to Train Your Dragon. I mean, these are solid. That's 4 really solid films. And if Mary Poppins really does become a top 1 or 2 of the draft, I think they've got a really good shot at winning. And I like Mystery Team, and the reason why is because I think they're surrounded, again, by a lot of really solid hits. I think The Grinch is going to do really well. It's an animated kids movie. I think Aquaman and Venom together, look, they're 2 superhero movies. Is either one going to be the biggest of the year? No, I think they're going to do well. And Glass, I think, could be a surprise hit. I think they're riskier plays, but I think I like those 2 teams. The only thing that's going to kill either of their chances of winning is if if Fantastic Beasts or Spider-Man does Avengers money and we're all surprised and then just blown out of the wall. As I pointed out, Avengers alone made more than your team did in the summer draft. No offense, Matt, but that's if you get the right movie, it doesn't matter what other movies you have.
That's it. That's what it comes down to. It's all about picking the right movie. As I'm doing this, as we go further into the draft, I'm finding that there aren't really a whole lot of surprises. There are fewer surprises than you expect.
Yeah.
Right. I think there's kind of a trick to this. Maybe it's because I want to believe that there's going to be a surprise hit. Maybe that's why we picked On the Basis of Sex. Maybe I'm hoping that's going to be.
I love it.
Surprise.
I want people to do crazier shit. I want people to try new strategies. I don't want people to just be like, oh, I'm going to put all my money on Fantastic Beasts. Like, that's boring.
And I think that's kind of what it's getting to be is like, if you stand by the predictable hits and play the hits, you're going to win. But maybe it's because I was kind of rooting for that lesser known movie or something like that. I still think it's gonna do really well. I think that just given the climate that we're in today, I don't think it's a movie that would have made any stretch of maybe wouldn't even make 100,000 if it came out in 2015. If it came out in 2014, certainly not. But because it's coming out in 2018, I think it's gonna do real well. Now that's a risk. That was our gamble, like I had said before, but we'll see. The Devils just won. They just won big. So
boo! Devil is bad. Angels are good. Devils are bad. Don't be rooting for the Devil.
The NJ Devils, man.
Your New Jersey Devils.
That's right.
No, Matt, it's going to be fun to watch. We're going to be tracking it all winter long right here on the show and on our website, upfordebate.tv/movies. You can check out the full list, see what everyone drafted, and every Monday we update the spreadsheet. You can also follow us on Twitter at UpForDebateTV, and I tweet out the updates every week, so it's the best way to find out how our players are doing as the year goes on, and then come March, we'll be drafting a whole nother slate. So it's a ton of fun. We appreciate all of our teams and all of our players for joining us last week. Again, if you haven't seen that episode 123 of the show, check it out, especially the video version. You can actually see us drafting. You can see the little draft-o-matic and see as the drafts come in. It's a lot of fun. So make sure you check that out. That's on our website, upfordebate.tv. Go there and check it out. We've got all of our past episodes as well. Get caught up. and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcast. Matt, big announcement.
All right.
The Coffee and Beer Podcast Network is now on Spotify. Get your podcasts where you get your music.
We did it.
We sure did. This show, Don't Panic, and Game Nights are all now available right now for download on Spotify. If that's where you like to listen, we're there. So subscribe
Sean,
there or anywhere.
We've made the big time. I have to say that deserves some champagne. That's a toasting moment right there.
I mean, I know you're asking yourself, Sean, don't they just let anyone do that? And the answer is maybe. But we are there. So check us out there and on YouTube as well.
The answer is they let us do it, so probably.
That's right. That's right. They let you guys in? Yeah, that's exactly correct. We got to wrap up here. We appreciate everyone hanging in for this extra long episode. Hope you enjoyed this deep, in-depth analysis on the movies. We'll have to see how right we are. But we'll definitely be back next time with another great topic and fun discussion here on the show. On behalf of Matt, I'm Sean. Thank you for joining us. And we'll see you next time for another great adventure here on Up for Debate.